Hello, this is Shankar, and today it's a free, it's a kind of a free talk which I'm doing, and this is about some sutras, and what you call it in English is some tips which are very important. Hello, yes, yes. Hmm. That's very important. It has to be done. Okay. No? So sorry. Yeah. So this is like kind of a free kind of a thing, where I'm going to tell you about some sutras, some tips, some very important things which are in astrology, which you would see and test them out. And the most important thing I'd like to, here tell, which everybody would know, is a period of Jupiter Venus. The period of Jupiter Venus can never be good. It will bring a downfall, it will bring a churn, it will bring a change, it will be for the negative for a lot of things. And in case your Jupiter is weak or Venus is weak, it could it could it could it could lead to disaster. So check out, Jupiter Venus is never a good period, and one has to be careful. Jupiter and Venus conjunction. Jupiter Venus conjunction I've seen um, is a very conjunction which has been talked about a lot about it, but it is only good if uh, Jupiter is behind Venus. That is, the degrees of Jupiter is less than Venus. If the degrees of Venus are less than Jupiter, when Venus is behind Jupiter, it is it is not good. Also, a very talked about thing which you always see is Sun Venus together. Sun Venus together, I've always seen, doesn't give you much. It gives you a kind of a person who is a show off, who does not have metal, but keeps on saying that, keeps on behaving in a way that he is glorious, he's winner. It's like a kind of vain glory which is there. That is Sun Venus conjunction, which I would like to put on. In marriage, a lot of importance is given to Jupiter, but please do not give great importance to Jupiter in marriage. Jupiter is a planet which can make you do everything depending on your planetary position where it is placed. It can it is a planet which 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 can make you do everything in a sense that everything is negative, and if the other planetary combination is supporting it and Jupiter is expecting it, it can make all the negativity which is there in the planets because of combination that happens. Only thing is Jupiter builds it with a cover of secrecy. It just puts a veil around it of secrecy that it looks as if everything looks very good. My own feel, this is my take, and I've always seen in a lady's horoscope, if Jupiter is in ninth house, test it out. And this is like, you know, my experience. Whenever Jupiter is in ninth house, the concerned lady at some point of time will have a relationship with somebody who is like a father. I mean, is like a guru. Could be the boss, could be, it's a guru, father figure. And in some cases, I've also seen relationships with fathers, stepfathers, etc., etc. Jupiter in ninth makes it happen. So Jupiter in ninth, I've given you an idea. You can see Jupiter other places also. Jupiter in third house, similarly, you can have a relationship with your sisters or sister-like people. So, this is what I've seen. And of course, it all depends on the strength of Jupiter also. Weaker it is, the greater the tendency. And if it is less weak, it will happen, but in a very different way. Only thing is, these things will never come out in this society. They're covered by this society. They're karmic issues which will happen. They're karmic debts. So Jupiter in ninth house, I've always seen it. Please check it out. Let's come to Saturn. Saturn Venus. They're supposed to be good friends. But the dasha of Shani, when the dasha of Shani comes and Antardasha of Shukra comes, it is not a great period, because Saturn is an old wise man, and Venus is a person who wants luxury, who wants a lot of, kind of uh, a lot of things of life which Saturn doesn't allow, and therefore Saturn Venus is more or less never good for monetary issues, and it creates other problems also. So Saturn Venus is also not very good, but Jupiter Venus is always the worst. Jupiter Dasha Venus Antardasha is one of the worst Dasha. Saturn Venus also bad, but not as bad as Jupiter Venus. Of course, it will depend upon the strength of the planets. Venus in 12th house is always talked about as good, but I don't think it is very good for marriage, because Venus in 12th means it is 6th from 7th. It may give you luxuries, it may give you pleasure of bed, you know, but it is not good for your marital life. It doesn't promote marriage. So never confuse Venus in 12th. Even an exalted Venus in 12th doesn't give you much more. It's like Venus in 12th means 6th from 7th, so not good for your marriage and relationships. I come to Venus as such. A very talked about combination is Mars and Venus. It's a good combination. It's a good combination for wealth. It's a good combination for money. But remember, Venus has to be behind Mars. And the degrees of Venus should be less than Mars. Venus should be behind Mars. It is good. It is good. It is good at least for your money, luxuries and other things. For sure it will give you good things. Even in 6th, 8th and 12th house it gives good, but depending on the house it is, it will have its problems. Mars Venus of course does not very good for relationships, for your personhood. From being a person who wants to impress ladies to a person who gets into sexual illicit relationships, Mars Venus can promote, but it depends on whether it is respected by Rahu or whether it has Saturn and it has other things which are there or not. So that's what Mars means. So any combination is good and bad. Similarly, Mars with Rahu, Angarak dosh, etc. it is said. But whenever Mars and Rahu are together, it makes a person strong. It makes a person a very kind of a bullish person who can talk, who's strong, who gets angry, who's energetic, things which are good and bad in the Kali. But Mangal and Rahu together, expected by Shani, will create problems. If there's a sure combination of either relationship before marriage or relationships after marriage, it is a combination where a girl is promiscuous, and if it is affected by other planets and it is in wrong houses, see other things. It could also be then a call girl or a prostitute or things to that effect, but it should be then afflicted by other planets in wrong houses. Mangal should be neech, Shani should not be strong, etc. etc. So we have to see to that. The Mangal Rahu expected by Shani falls, but it may be good for property. You may make a lot of property. You will have money. So, don't confuse it with material things. It will not be good for your character for a lady. But the lady may have money. The lady will travel abroad. The lady will have connection with international people, etc. Rahu in the second house. Prosperity for a person always comes when he goes away from his birthplace. Now, away from the birthplace, India itself is so big. I mean, it's like a Europe if you see all the states together. But it will make a person prosper away from his birthplace. And I've seen in most of the cases people do go abroad and prosper abroad. So Rahu in second house has that kind of a tendency. When we come to Rahu, let us talk about Rahu and Ketu. They are the most important karmic planets. And Rahu and Ketu make and unmake your life. Rahu is the thinker, it is the current, it is a thought, it is a thought which is away from the normal thought. It is something which is Rahu is a researcher, Rahu is an inventionist, Rahu is it has all the things which are needed today in Kali. And Ketu is the lower part. It's your the cervical, the bone, the cervical part in which your head rests. That is Ketu. So both are equally important. And depositors of Rahu and Ketu are very, very important. This is not my theory, it is the theory of Manik Chand Jain, a very good astrologer who's no more there. And he had written, and which I've tried in a lot of things, that depositors of Rahu Ketu make big people. If depositors of Rahu and Ketu are together, it will make an ordinary horoscope a little extraordinary, even if there are other yogas which are not very good. And the person will, create a name for himself. The depositors of Rahu and Ketu are together, and if the depositors of Rahu and Ketu are in exchange, it will create billionaires. And I don't want to name, but the richest man of Asia also has this combination where the depositors of Rahu Ketu exchange in the 7th and 8th house. There is an exchange, even if the horoscope is not anywhere to put it, there is an exchange, and that exchange makes him the richest man. So Rahu and Ketu exchange is very good, Rahu Ketu together is very good, but Rahu and Ketu aspecting each other, that is in the 7th house. We only take, when I talk about depositors, you have to only see whether they are together or whether they are aspecting each other, depositors aspecting each other. Aspecting each other creates a person, a tussle in his life. It will make him fight for a cause, and he may end up in a very unnatural way. If you look at the horoscopes of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and others, they had a Rahu Ketu, and they were, the depositors were in 7th to each other, that is, aspecting each other. So they make them rise for a cause and also form sudden death, because both Rahu and Ketu are planets which cause sudden things in life. So Rahu and Ketu, I can go on and on. They are the most important planets. They are the two planets. Even when you do your Navgraha Puja, on one side you have Ketu and one side you have Rahu of Shani, and Shani is the karma. So Rahu and Ketu are the karmic planets which have some relationship with Shani. The theory is very different, which I've explained in some other way. So Rahu and Ketu are very important. Rahu Ketu, if alone, are the best. But Rahu Ketu, if with other planets, you have to see them in a very, very different way, and in a way which is very, very unique. Someday in some video, I will explain it to you. So that's about Rahu and Ketu. When you talk about Sun is a planet of vitality. Sun is the most important planet that gives you the courage. It gives you the strength to live. And Sun, strong, is very good in a horoscope. It takes care of, the moon is weak and Sun is strong. Then you may have a lot of thoughts in your mind and you may be irritated, but if Sun is strong, it makes you, it gives you the willpower to do anything. So a strong Sun is very important. I always tell people that don't do anything, look at Sun and say a hello to him. With the sunlight, you can say hello to that. So that Sun is very important. Moon is a planet which governs our life. It's the fastest moving planet in the constellation. It has 27 wives, and it loves Rohini the most. With 27 constellations, that is 27 wives, and it loves Rohini the most. It stays longer in Rohini, and it's supposed to be strongest there. It's exalted there, so it's important. And Moon, when you're analyzing, here I would all like to say that Moon analysis of Moon with respect to nakshatras are very important, but every planet should be analyzed with respect to nakshatras. And nakshatras are things where you have to play. You have to just play with them to understand them. Who's the deity behind them? What are they representing? What are they doing? What is the kind of sound they produce? Like Purva Phalguni, Shivji going for the Uttar Puru Phalguni Shivji going for the marriage, and Uttar Phalguni is the destruction of the marriage. The marriage does not happen. The preparation is Pur Phalguni, Uttar Phalguni is the closure of it, and that is the Shiv Parvati story behind it, which actually tells you so planets in Pur Phalguni, Uttar Phalguni. You have to understand in that way. Moola has its great advantages. It produces the best people. Moola Nakshatra is very important, people say. So every nakshatra, you have to just love the nakshatra, understand the nakshatra, feel the nakshatra, see the deity. Whatever you remember, just think of it, and and that's it. And then you see which planet is there in that particular nakshatra and analyze it. It's like, and that's the most important thing when you look at look at a chart or look at the division charts also for that matter. So nakshatras are very important. Mercury is the most important planet. I think Mercury governs our intelligence, communication, playground, uh, elephant, people running. It's a child. It's got a lot of energy in it. It represents commerce. It represents trade. So it represents your daily work, which is very important. And the strong Mercury is extremely important. Mercury behind Venus is always good in degrees. And Sun ahead of Venus is also very good. So if you want to see a person who's surely going to make a lot of money, would be a person who's got Sun, then Venus behind it, and then behind Venus is Mercury. So if that's what it happens, it's great. But whenever Venus is ahead of Sun, it 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 will stop your money inflow to some extent, and that is the Nadi conservatives. I can explain it later. But remember, in Nadi, it is not that we keep on saying that this is ahead, this is back. You have to also take the nakshatra into consideration, and you have to see the horoscope like a pie diagram of 360 degrees. It is a pie diagram of 360 degrees, and every degree has a role to play. And that is how you have to see the horoscopes, and whether you convert it into D60, then all these things come from this one particular thing. The 360 degrees is the circle, and the planets move every degree, and that is where it comes. And that is how even you have to see what happens to the what happens to what happens in each degree. Even that 1 degree also is important. And within that 1 degree also, if you want to see twins, etc., you have to take that into consideration. Also, twins when they're born, why is it different? So, but you have to be told that they're twins. So, because there's nothing as twins. There is a difference of time between two twins. It doesn't happen because what in astrology, I'm again digressing, is important is we don't take into consideration, I at least don't take into consideration, and when I correct the horoscopes, I see this, that I do not take into consideration the time of birth, the time when the child comes out of the mother's womb. What is important is the first breath which the child takes, and that is impossible. It's nearly impossible to see the first breath which the child takes, and that is why you have to correct the horoscopes. So the first breath is always very different from, even in the case of twins, there's a difference about a few minutes here and there which you have to see, and that is why even if the birth time is absolutely correct, if you want to do very detailed prediction, a very accurate prediction, you need to correct the horoscope to some extent. So my whole thing is, in my journey of astrology, if you have to see the day-to-day living of a person is good or not, look at Mercury, Venus, and Moon. If Mercury, Venus, and Moon are placed well, a person's day-to-day life is good. My take. Then look at Mars. Then look at Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn are the bigger brothers who actually define a great things which you do in life. For a day-to-day life, even a small man may lead, a billionaire may lead, the happiness quotient, satisfied, things happening in your own way. Look at these three planets, Mercury, Venus, and Moon, because they actually govern it. And Moon Also, one should not get into too much of how the moon is placed in the horoscope, but how moon moves. Moon is about movement. The moon is a very important planet. Moon is about liquidity. The money liquidity is seen by moon. So a lot of things are seen by moon. So these three planets are very important. Venus, of course, is all about your wealth, luxury, money, sex. If you have to see whether you want to get into the film industry, there should be a connection of 5th, 8th, and the 12th house. 5th house is the 12th from 4th. So it is how do you gain from the masses? I mean, what the expense of the masses? So even when that's when you see this lottery and speculation, 5th house becomes very important. Apart from it being a house of child and it being the house of intellect, other things, it becomes very important because the 12 from 4, what you get from the masses. So when you're in the film industry, it's the masses who have to come to see you. So that 5th house is very important. 8th house is ingenuity, how much you can change yourself, you think deep, you can get into the character. And 12th house is imagination, where the way you emote, the way you save, the way you make love, etc., etc. So, and both 8th and 12th are also behind the scene, camera, cinematography, all those things are connected to the film line. That also is there. So 5th, 8th, and 12th makes a person, connection has to be there to be in the film industry. But however, if you are in a job and you have a connection of 5th, 8th, and 12th, you will be nowhere. And if you are in a job and this connection, and the 5th, 8th, and 12th comes, you will lose your job because 5th is 12 to 6th, 8th is 12 to 9th, 6th is service, so you lose your service, 9th is fortune, you lose fortune, 12th is expenses, so you do expenses, you lose your job. So you understand, this is I'm giving this example to make you understand astrology. I mean, the same combination makes an Amitabh Bachchan, and the same combination when it comes in your dasha antar or in a transit or in some other way it comes into being. The same combination in a particular time can put you out of job. So astrology is that way very science which is very critical. I have always given importance to the main chart. The main chart is the most important chart, and then you get into the D charts. In the D charts, I give importance to Navamsha, Dashamsha, Trimamsha, Grekhna, and Shashtyamsha. That is the D9, the D30, the D45, and the D60, and the D10. These are the 5 charts which I look at, which are very important. And then I also look about, should never leave things like what yoni a person is born in. Suppose in your horoscope you're born in the Rakshas yoni, you're going to prosper. Because Rakshas is nothing wrong. I mean, Rakshas were people who wanted materialism, who wanted to rise, who wanted to have sex, who wanted to make money, who wanted to do something different. So they were known as devil, and they were said to be not correct as compared to dharma. But today is Kali Yuga, everybody wants all this. So if you are a Rakshas yoni, you will have the guna of Rajas guna. And even the way people say tamas, nothing wrong in tamas. Rajas and tamas are both very important. Tamas is the darkness. So you go beyond the darkness. If your rajas and tamas together, you go beyond the darkness. It does not mean that you become absolutely idolent. There's nothing wrong in tamas. There's nothing wrong in rajas. So these two make you very materialistic, make you rise. A great amount of sattva will make you a spiritual person. Also remember, exalted planets, one doesn't understand exalted planets, but exalted planets, wherever they are placed, in whichever house is placed, they will create problems for that particular house. Suppose Jupiter is exalted in the 7th house, there will be issues with marriage. Saturn exalted in 4th house, there would be issues of domestic peace. Here, because the exalted planets, what do they say? They say that your energy is full. You come with a karmic energy where you've used the energy of that particular planet, and it is full. So you are not that nothing incremental is left out of it. So my view is that exalted planets, wherever they are placed, वो वहाँ के certain things they will not give you, especially the house where they are placed in, right house. Exalted Mars in 10th house, may not give you a great profession, a great prestige, whatever people may say. It will just it will make you rise. It will make you, but not the way people emulate about it. Debilitated planets show energy where you can work and increase your uh, in that particular way. You can work, increase with your karmas. You can actually do more. But again, debilitated planet depends on where we are placed. I think I'm speaking roughly, but try this out. But remember one thing, that uh, the benefic planets are good for live things and not good for non-live things. The malefic planets are good for non-live things and not good for live things. Like Saturn may be good for profession, but may not be good for marriage. Jupiter may be good for marriage, but not good for um, certain non-life things like materialistic. High materialism cannot be given by Jupiter. Understand one thing: Chandrama is a planet, is a tricky planet. So whenever Chandrama is there in a person's horoscope and it's with other planets, Chandrama is a very big trickster. And we know the story of Chandrama. All these stories are there to explain us. So Chandrama will always do something which is nasty, which is tricky, which is different, and it to some extent can also lead to deception. So, and Jupiter Chandrama has been always called about that Sri Yoga, big yoga, but you would see that anybody who has Jupiter Chandrama will always be involved in some kind of controversy, though the controversy will get settled, but there will be a controversy. Jupiter doesn't let the actual controversy come out. So Chandrama has this particular thing, and this is what is my research in the Nadi system. So, and I can go on and go on with my sutras and keep on explaining you, but now let me know which is the topic you want me to talk about. I'll talk more about it. And that's it. Thanks. Bye for now. And with this, I end. You can talk to me. You can write to me at connectingminds@gmail.com. I have my site shankerstudy.com. I have my personal site shankeradawal.com. I have my articles which I keep on posting on shankerstudy.com. I post my articles on my blog. I have books through Sagar publication. Of course, this science of astrology, which I'm doing over started age of 40, I'm 63, over 43 years. It's a love. It's just a love for me. I read it. It's a stress buster for me. I like doing it. I like researching about it. And remember one thing, that there is nothing like a Saturn or a Jupiter which is affecting you. These are all substances. These are all tattvas which are inside you. And it is the Jupiter tattva, the Saturn tattva, the Mars tattva. They're like salts which are there in you. And these salts have their own composition of change. And it is that which makes you what you are. And also remember, karma is very important, because certain things you're born with and certain things you can actually do it. There are certain people who have such flattery combination that they make efforts and they will rise. Some have that they don't have the energy to make efforts. That is also there in the horoscope. So karmas are very important, and they do change a lot of things in your life. So with this, I'd like to end my horoscope. I can go on talking, but I think now the video is of 29-30 minutes. So I should stop. Thanks. Thank you guys. Thanks. If you like my video, share it. Of course, I don't charge. You can always write to me, and if I get the time, and if it's an issue which is important, I do. I always do reply. Not to the mundane thing, but if there is a problem, there's a serious problem in your life, and it's a focused question, and serious about it, then I do understand it. I always reply, and I use all horoscopes in my research, so keep on writing to me. I of course don't charge, but as they say in Kali, or also it is always said that you should always take dakshina for whatever you're doing. So perhaps one day I'll start charging and consulting, but use the money for a good cause at Vrindavan so that the chain of karma helps us all. Thanks, Ratana.